Welcome back to Zeke's Investing. Please like and subscribe. Again, gonna go off topic a little bit because I was gonna show you guys my new car, right? Like that was gonna happen. So where I left off we brought the car home. I'm gonna try to walk you through what exactly happened and why I'm not showing you the car that I want. So we take it back to the dealership, right? He quotes us before we leave. They're like, "Yeah, we got you. We're gonna work with you. You know, you're trading. You're probably only looking at like 28." So I'm thinking like 30, 31 out the door. So I bring it back and I'm like, "Yeah, I love the car. Let's talk." And we sit down, and he's like, "Yeah, it's gonna be 36, so it'd be about 40 walking out the door." I am not even lying. Like somehow they jumped from 28 maybe to 40. So I get a little irritated and I'm like, yeah, no, this ain't going to work. I wasn't like a Karen about it, or I was just like, this ain't going to work because I still love the car, 40 grand, but I love the car. So, I go home. I start scouring the whole planet to find it. Well, not the planet, but just the state. And I don't want to say this, but they don't have any. They have ones that are like a step below it with some miles on it, and they're still asking like 30 grand. So I'm thinking, right, I want something comfortable. I want something kind of cool, I want to step above a Subaru, right? And so I go back to the place that like is always trying to sell you Kias because they had a couple Buicks there. I was like, I can't. You think about it, like Cadillac. When you think of comfort, you think Cadillac, Lexus, Mercedes, Lincoln, and then Buick, right? Like Buick's in there. So I look up, I find a premium too, which there's only one of those two, and they can parallel park themselves. That's how phenomenal this car does stuff. Is the car phenomenal? Well, you're about to find out. So I go there, by this time my wife's done with it. And the kids, they're done with it too, but they're little, so I don't care. So I take the car back home, I throw them in the car, and we wait in the parking lot. I don't know why I was waiting in the parking lot or in the driveway, because then my wife pulled up and I was like, "Hey, I want to take you to dinner," because you got to entice her at this point. Little did she know we had to drive like an hour away in a Buick, and I let her drive, and the thing was really uncomfortable. Like it was literally meant for like maybe if you had a hip replacement or something like that. If your back was out, like you were old as shit, because these cars are more for old people. But old people know their stuff. So that's also why I wanted the Buick. But, I kind of just dealt with the uncomfortableness because of all the crazy features this car had, that there's no way in hell an 80-year-old. I had to open and shut case to get this Buick like Enclave or whatever. Or I don't remember what the hell it was called. Doesn't matter. Because I looked into the Buicks. Buicks is a dying company. That the reason why it's dying is because their fan base is like 60 plus, and they're not even selling the vehicles anymore. Nobody buys them because they're so uncool, and like they're just phasing out. So if you own a Buick, I think they still will always be able to get parts for them, but they're not terrible cars. But I was looking more into it, and I kid you not, this Buick only could carry 700 pounds in the cabin. This was an SUV. There was 3 seats in the back and 2 in the front. We were barely pushing the weight limit. Now, I didn't tell my wife that it was a 2-wheel drive that could only pull 700 pounds. Like, that is pathetic. My car my car can pull 1,200. So I had this guy, and it was written down at like 26. I was like, I'm gonna get this for like 26 out the door probably, because nobody's coming in to buy this Buick, right? So I sit down with him, and I kid you not, The price went up to like $35,000. Now I know he was trying to include a warranty, but apparently if I would have drove it out of the parking lot and it broke down, that would have been my problem. So you want the warranty, a lot of places include the warranty in, but he wanted $35,000 for this fucking Buick when I could have got my Mazda for 40. So I definitely got a little irritated. My wife was a little upset as well. I don't blame her. The kids were like in the waiting room, like with the coffee machine and stuff. Yeah, they're fine. So, we get back into my car and I take them out to eat. It was great. We went home. That's that, right? So I'm still looking around and I really, really like the Mazda setup. So I call the Mazda guy back and I'm like, hey, all right, do you have like a smaller SUV or a car? And he's like, got the perfect thing for you right in your price range. So I go over there, and it's cool. It's like a Mazda 3. And it has all-wheel drive, though. And it's pretty quick, and it has all my features in it. And so I go to get into it and smack my face up against the damn, because the car sits like on the floor. So I was a little iffy taking this to the wife to show her because it doesn't really have room for anybody else. So I brought it to show her, and she's like, take that back. I'm so sick of cars. And I was like, all right. So anyway, back to square one. I still don't have a car. And you know what really, really got to me is, so when we were discussing this car, that was going to probably cost me 40 grand. Keep in mind, my mom, the day before, Friday, we took the Mazda on Saturday. So Friday, she buys a $50,000 car. It's like a Lexus. It's ridiculous. Fully decked out, whole bunch of stuff. And, we bring the Mazda over to show her, and she's like, yeah, that's too expensive. You shouldn't be paying that for a car. Now, keep in mind, she has a brand new car. There's a truck in the background. There's a car in the back. There's a tractor over there. There's a golf cart. They don't even golf. There's a golf cart there. And she's just like, you can't afford it. But, I kind of understand that. Because if my kids came to me and they were like, hey, should I get this new car? Even if it was like $12,000, you got to be like, you can't afford it. I think that's just something you got to say. That's something you got to do. So, God, do I spend this 40 grand and just get the car that I want? Or, man, I don't know. I might be able to wait them out. I think. So that was a little ridiculous. So I don't know what to do. I'm like at this point where I think I'm going to, unless my car comes up for my right price, I'm going to hold out. I have that ability. They actually did that bait and switch to my mom too, except they showed her a nicer car and she just bought it. And I actually wish I had that car because that car is very, very nice. But, yeah, so I'm still stuck in my car. It might break down. I might be walking or taking the bus or whatever. But hey, it's whatever at this point. But anyway, like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. By the way, I will show you my car whenever I get it. I'll keep you updated.